Okay, this is the last part of the 1.3 slash 1.4 lesson. So this is the fourth page of the notes that I gave you. So this is the 1.4. So there are rules for transformations, and these rules are going to be used throughout the rest of the course. These are the rules used from grade 11 when we graphed quadratics. So you have to remember all your transformations. So here's the basic breakdown of what we're going to do. So you got to remember a couple things, like the one in the middle here. Yeah, this translates it left and right, right? This one here takes it and makes it either wider or narrower left and right. So those affect the x values. The a in the front is a vertical. It's either going to stretch it or compress it. And this k at the end is either going to shift it up or down. So what we can do is we can use those to help us graph things. So for instance, we know what y equals x cubed looks like. And if you needed to, you just make a little quick table of values, right? So that would be something like this here, right? 0, 0, 1, 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 2, negative 8, 2, 8, right? And you can graph that. And if you look at my graph here, that is the red line here. That's what a standard cubic looks like, the red line. But what we want to do is we want to use that and graph a new one here. We want to graph y equals negative 2, x minus 1 cubed plus 2. So we want to do some transformations to it and translations. So what we can do is you find key points on the graph like we did, 0, 0, 1, 1. And then what you do is you're shifting each coordinate by 1 to the right. You flip the y because it's negative. You double them because it's a 2. And then you slide everything up because the 2 at the end. So we want y equals x cubed to become this one. So what we can do is we can pick a point and do all the things to it. So you pick your point. You shift x 1 to the right, so it becomes 1, 0. You flip the y, that makes no difference when it's 0. You multiply it by 2, makes no difference when it's 0. And then you shift everything up by 2. So what you do is you end up with 1, 2. So the first point was originally 0, 0. Now it becomes 1, 2. And we can see that on the graph, 1, 2. It's going to be right up here, right? And you can do that to all the points. You could go through 0, 0, 1, 1, negative 1, negative 1, and do that. I'm just going to let's pick fifth point, which is 2, 8. Do all the same stuff to it. Shift 1, x to the right, so that's a 3. Flip the y, goes from positive 8 to negative 8, double it, so times it by 2, and then shift the whole thing up 2, and it becomes negative 14. So 3, negative 14. So you can't even see it on this graph. It's way down the bottom here. But what you can do is you can follow the basic values and create a little chart from an original y equals x cubed, and then do whatever your translations and transformations are, right? And that's the simple thing. Now, a couple things you could do is you can also do, if you're graphing this at home or doing stuff and you're having trouble with it, rentcalculators.org or Desmos. Desmos is probably one of the nicest ones to work with. You can put in the original one, it'll graph it, put all the changes, and it'll graph, and then you can hover over and it'll give you new points. Okay, so that is the last part of 1.4.